Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fox Den. Yes, I'm uploading less and less, but I finished my playthrough of Haven, so I'm gonna do a what if on it. Just my little scenario: what happens if the world of Haven was somehow connected to the world of my hero. Now, this is gonna be left off the cliffhanger, but this is kind of gonna be a hey, what if we just throw these two in the world of my hero? What could go wrong? So, anyways, let's get started. During the last confrontation, you and Kay not wanting to fight, nor wanting to cut off the flow bridge, decide on one last gambit. A few days before, while exploring, Kay would encounter a room full of coordinates. This is where Kay would find out that there is one last flow bridge under the landmass where the nest is located. He copies this information and runs back to tell you. In present time, Kay tells you that this might be a good time to try that final gambit. Oh, okay, I lost my place. And so, right before the main force of drones arrive, you pilot the nest into the hole and pit that started this all, reaching and hoping to find this last chance of happiness. Did you find it? Now, not being able to turn back, not like they wanted to, not like they want to, they go ahead and use this flow bridge, using rust along the way to cover their tracks and potentially cutting the flow from source to this new place. 6 boring months would go by as I see a green planet with 80% of ocean, filled with what looks like 80% of ocean. Or 70, I don't know the water mass of Earth. Not off memory, and I'm too lazy to look it up. But enough about that. Kay initially starts panicking, thinking that they somehow looped their way back to the apiary. But thanks to Kay's brilliant mind, he managed to piece together that this is not the apiary. Instead, a totally new place. That they haven't decided on a name for yet. Eventually, come to name, or no, wait, no. With K, the reason why K figured this all out is because this place has no flow. This place has no flow. Hence, it can't be the same place. Deciding to look at this place, they begin their descent. This is when we're cut over to the man, the myth, the legend, the Shield, David Shield. When he gets an interesting message. Well, not really a message, where he sees a kind of blue light appear. This being, well, our boys. Our spatial couple. Or what I like to call them, our star-crossed lovers. As Kay and you would land, David, along with a security force, because you never know when you might need one, land. They decide to look and ask some questions. Not a lot, but some. But this is actually where things go adjure. Different or good, depending on who you ask. K initially reacts to these humans with skepticism, as one would do. Thus beginning a life for K. Or K would eventually try to speak to this person. Eventually learning that this is indeed a person. Eventually comes to the conclusion that this may be their one last chance at happiness. So Kay does a reasonable thing and begins to speak with David Shield. Somehow, by some miracle of the universe, they share the same language. Kay would begin trying to speak with David Shield, learning that they are a person. Yes. I don't know how to frame it. It's like, hello. Who may you be, good sir? Or extraterrestrial alien? Or species that look like us? With Kay going on to one of his rants, with you stopping him by giving him a little slap in the head. You being you, basically. You decide, or with you speaking up after hitting Kay, saying, I'm so sorry for him. We're not used to having people talk to us, really. So it's a kind of a new experience for us. With David being a little confused, finally asks, so what are you guys? With you of all people responding, I think we're human. At least we're human from our standards, but are we humans to your standards? This being the bigger question. Eventually, David Shield then responds, saying, from my perspective, you are human. Now, who I may ask, are you? This is when Kay would introduce himself as Kay. No last name, at least not from what I remember. They've always been kind of just K or U. So it's kind of hard to explain them. Ow. Anyways. David eventually comes to terms with a lot of this. Eventually asks them where they came from. With them responding graciously. Yu responds with a thing that's actually really clever for him. Sorry. Oh, that's friendly. Whoops. Anyways, Kay would explain where they're from and stuff, with David Shield asking a very reasonable question. What caused them to run away? With Kay explaining, there's a system in our world called the Matchmaker. The Matchmaker kind of, makes couples. David, not understanding this, eventually just kind of accepts it. You were shooting at me. David then asks a question that's been bugging him. The items that they have on them. With Kay, Yu, since she's the one who manages it, gives us the upgrades. Depictedly says that, these are flow devices. They manage the flow in the world. David asking a really good question, what is flow? With Kay going on the whole shtick about flow and about it being the essence of life. Oh, him again. Man, he really has it out for me. But yeah, David will, after all this information dumped by Kay, David will actually ask if they can see flow normally. Kay will respond with, yes, we normally can see flow. However, from what we've seen, at least from this place, there is no flow whatsoever. With you stating, and that's a good thing, because flow is what we've been trying to get away from. With David understanding the situation they're in, and finally ask the question, so you're running away from your government for not following their rules and choosing a romance yourself. Which Kay will then nod his head yes, with you grabbing his hand grabbing Kay's hand and bringing it close and holding it tight. With David Shield rubbing the back of his head, saying, "Okay, how about I let you guys live here and I can teach you some of the laws and stuff of our world. You teach me some things from your adventures, teach me about flow, and we can work something out." Kay would look towards you, you would look towards Kay, as they would nod their head, agreeing to this notion. Fast forward the next 2 years or so. Let me look this up real quick. Okay, so they're around. Wow, that's actually pretty young. So you and Kay are actually 17 by their game. Holy shit. Well, somewhere around 18, 17 through 22, since they're only aged that they're labeled as young adults. Okay. Anyways. David then had some of his men take a tow truck to bring their spaceship into a hangar. With you and Kay insisting that they just keep the hangar as their room. Just far enough away from people, but close enough where David can interact with them. Fast forward a year. Kay and you are well-known figures in Island, being top scientists. Well, a top scientist and a top engineer, respectively. And introducing more of their flow mechanics. Thanks to Kay learning that rust can be reverse engineered into flow, though it is much more unstable. Kay would label this version of flow adaptive. This flow rust, so I'll let you guys name it. What would this unstable flow be called? This is where Nezu from UA would ask David if he can lend you and Kay for a little visit to UA to teach a new batch of scientists and students willing to learn the science of the world. Because no one besides David knows that you and Kay are from, and of course David's personal guard, know that these two are actually from a different version of Earth. David will only agree if Kay and you agree. After getting a meeting with them, they would. Setting a date where Nezzy will send someone to pick them up, and so forth. And that's where I'm going to end it. This is mostly just a setup thing, so more like a part 0. But if you guys want more parts of this, tell me. Because I can spend a little more time writing this. Because I'm taking aspects from a... well... just kind of thing. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Ta-ta!